Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought I'd do a proper video on the IS-2 number 321, which is going to be coming to the game on the 11th of May. Basically, they're going to do a new style of event, which mixes some of the pages of history ideas and also some of the standard operations that we get ideas to give a unique event vehicle for the game. Now, when it comes to the event itself, it is pretty simple. It's running from the 11th of May to the 23rd of May, and you have 6 stages of it. Each stage lasts 2 days, and all you have to do is get 25,000 mission points on each of the stages with rank 3 vehicles or above in arcade, realistic, or simulator battles, and you will be able to get all of the different stages. So you'll get some text decals, you get some decorations, and also the actual event IS-2 itself. And it'll be a rank 4 Soviet vehicle. It won't be a premium, so you'll probably have to grind it out and all of that good stuff. But generally, it's very similar to the IS-2 1944 that we have in the tech tree. So a 6.3 vehicle, it has the same hull, it has the dishka. The main thing is the physical additions, which look very much like decorations, and then also the decals themselves when it comes to the vehicle. Now, the way that the article is written when it comes to this IS-2, specifically the white 321 one, is the actual model itself is not from an individual IS-2 which can be found. What they've done is they've taken inspiration from many different historical photos of IS-2s and kind of added what they deem as the best parts to all of them, including the wooden logs on the side of the machine, and also at the same time the crewman quilted jackets left from the winter, shell boxes and bags which are tied to the back. They've also obviously added the 321 and some additional decorations all over it. So even though this isn't modeled off a specific IS-2, what it means is it gives it a much more authentic feel because it is much similar to historical photos that we see from the IS-2s themselves, where they wouldn't just be very, let's call it clean, and they would have a bunch of other stuff on top of it, just like most tanks would at the time. So the nice thing about this IS-2 is it makes it unique in a way that it looks different from the standard one, but also at the same time, it should perform exactly the same. And basically what you've got here is, instead of just a camouflage difference, you have a physical skin difference, which doesn't really give you any additional armor or anything like that, but does give it a unique feel. And I think this is actually awesome. This is a really cool idea, and one which I thought was going to be coming for a while. Especially since some stuff which has been going on in other games, but it's nice to finally see it when it comes to War Thunder, and in this style of event is also pretty cool. The Legend of Victory event, I think, is really, really nice. I hope they continue with this series in different areas, and I hope they have a lot of vehicles planned for this setup. The mission score idea is very simple to do. You can do it alongside a bunch of other events, such as the Battle Pass, which are going on, and also the idea that you can get a unique vehicle out of it, even though it isn't, technically unique, I think is really cool. It bolsters lineups, and it also, at the same time, gives another vehicle for people to be able to grind out and put in their lineups, but also kind of get a taste of what something like a rank 4 vehicle will be like if they are, playing a different tech tree, or if at the same time they're playing a few other things. And if you have a look at Enlisted, now, if you don't know what Enlisted is, it's a free-to-play FPS. It was released last year, and it's developed by Darkflow Software. But one of the key things is that it's actually published by Gaijin Entertainment. And since Gaijin are the publisher and developers of War Thunder, and also both games have a heavy World War II element to them, Enlisted being based in World War II, and War Thunder obviously having a lot of Second World War vehicles, there's a ton of crossover when it comes to it, such as the M1919A6 decoration, and also the Piat, both which are available in Enlisted. And when it comes to the premium vehicles in Enlisted, they aren't just straight copies of the standard tech tree stuff. There is a bunch of them which are the same as the tech tree ones, but they also have these interesting skins on them. So there is a Stuart, for example, with teeth on the front of it. There is stuff such as other ones which have sandbags on top of them, and just little details which make them a lot more, let's say, authentic or aesthetically pleasing compared to the standard, let's call them clean tanks, which are around the place. So Enlisted already has these vehicles in it, and since War Thunder and Enlisted have shared a ton of assets in the past and will continue to do so when it comes to the two games' developments, I think that's what's going to happen when it comes to the War Thunder event. All those vehicles, if this event is successful and a lot of people enjoy it and a lot of people play it, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a bunch more with those style of vehicles in it. And I'm completely fine with that. You know, to have additional vehicles to lineups is always very important. When they did the Twitch drop vehicles, I thought it was a great platform to be able to add vehicles which would just be additional ones to lineups, which would be exactly the same as standard tech tree ones, and, you know, be able to give people better lineups in order to advance. I thought it would be something that you could do for minor nations to be able to help them. And when it comes to this event, the Legend of Victory event, it's exactly the same thing. It means that if you are struggling with a lineup, or if a lineup is generally struggling, and 6.0 to 6.7 Soviets isn't exactly the strongest in the game, but if you start grinding out these vehicles, then it'll make it a lot easier for you to be able to create lineups and actually have a good time with it. The only issue with stuff like this is the time limitation on them. So if they are gone, you know, will they be brought back every year? I mean, maybe, but then they're going to have to do a replacement for the IS-2 as well. You know, you've got the whole unique thing going on. Maybe you could just bring in another IS-2 with a different number on it. Maybe different amounts of logs, you know, stuff like that. But generally, when we look at an event like this, it's only really positive because of the fact that, as I said, it bolsters lineups, because it doesn't add, you know, to it can't be said that this vehicle is pay to win, you know, because it's pretty much exactly the same as the standard tech tree one. So if the standard tech tree one is you know, doing insanely well, then it'll get upped in BR, and so will this one, just like how, you know, all these different things work. And at the same time, it means that we can have other events going on in War Thunder which run along other side ones. The mission score events of the Pages of History, and also now the Legend of Victory events, I think is actually really nice, because it pretty much means that you can do them just while doing your standard dailies, while doing your standard special tasks, and while doing them while, you know, playing some other things. I have criticized War Thunder in the past for having way too many events at the same time, and I still hold that belief, by the way. Because if you actually have a look at basically the end of January until now, so that's what, 3 to 4 months, we haven't had a break when it comes to War Thunder. There hasn't been a single break on the train. There's always new events coming. There's always different discounts going on. There's always different little events. There's always battle pass stuff going on, and there's also updates. There's just a ton of stuff going on when it comes to the game right now. And that's completely fine, but keeping on top of everything is incredibly hard to do for an individual, and it is leading to cases of burnout. I've ran into a ton of them already when it comes to the game. People who have played the game for many years that I know that need to just take breaks from it, because they're just getting hit over and over and over again with different stuff to do, and it's just, you know, it's going to become a little bit crazy. Last month, we had 3 separate events run simultaneously, which all needed different game modes and all needed different ways of playing. And that is definitely a problem. But luckily, this type of event doesn't hold on to that stuff. Instead, what it does is it just runs alongside other ones, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So for me, I really like these events. I really like the fact that they're bringing back some more historical stuff into the game, even if it isn't truly historical. But what it does is it adds a layer of history where maybe people can learn about how the IS-2s did in 1944 and 1945. And also what it does is it adds a little bit of new events for people to have a go at. They also leave it so you can actually grind it out with GE as well. So you can just pay for it if you feel like it, if you don't want to grind it out. So that's always a nice option. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Merciless Reaper, Jerry Provolt, Mega Dino King, Professor X1718, Orange Tail, Sakoshi Tiger, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Eugen's Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, Moxie, B. Young, and Derek R., Bareen, Lafouche, and Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.